Kevin Mitnick, formerly the world's most wanted hacker, has passed away. 3 in 5 workers try to be active online even while not working, a new Slack report says. Disney, Netflix, and many more streaming companies are fighting the FTC's click to cancel proposal. And Apple slams the UK surveillance bill proposal. This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the New Media Production Studio. I want to welcome you to episode 1682 of the Geek News Central podcast for Thursday, July 20th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Everyone, we are lit and live with podcasting apps from podcastapps.com, modern podcast apps. Join the new value for value evolution. I want to give a warm welcome to new listeners. Make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com. Follow or subscribe to the podcast while you're on there. Sign up for our newsletter as well so that you do not miss a single episode of this show as we email you the show notes directly to your inbox. You can always join our chat room at geeknews.chat or our Discord channel. Both are linked in the show notes. You can always contact me via email, geeknews@gmail.com or at geeknews on Twitter. Mastodon is at geeknews@geeknews.chat as well. Of course, our geeknews.chat server is a Mastodon chat server. You can follow me on Facebook by searching for my name. Partner shows, again, they're all linked at the very top of geeknewscentral.com. Includes the new media show with myself and Mr. Rob Greenlee. Of course, this week, Rob was by himself. The Gadget Professor with Mr. Don Bain. And the GNC Week in Review with our executive producers, Kirk, and his co-host, Scott. So definitely check those shows out, follow or subscribe to them as well. Of course, this show is the show with the longest running continuous sponsor of a podcast by our good friends at GoDaddy. You can save large on GoDaddy products and services by going to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, where the savings begin. And again, we've got great deals. Get that first domain name for a penny. Yes, a penny. Again, a penny for your first .com or $1.99 a month economy hosting for the first year, $1.99 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain, or $2.99 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year, again with a free domain name. Those are the best deals going. $24 value on the economy hosting for the first year, $36 value for the managed WordPress hosting with a domain name valued at $8.49. So definitely check those out. Of course, you get a free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder, your choice of personal business to business plus plans. That's a one month free trial with the GoDaddy Website Builder. Your support of this show by using one of these codes keeps this show online. It allows us to continue to have great writers, pay the rent, pay the electricity bill, pay the insurance, everything that happens that we stay to keep us online here in the studio, in the New Media Production Studio. And we definitely appreciate every bit of your support for supporting the sponsor, GoDaddy. Definitely check them out. These GoDaddy coupons are non-expiring until they are, and have been verified to work and are validated daily. Again, big thanks to GoDaddy for being a sponsor here. geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Again, where savings begin. If you're watching live, definitely say hello on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you may be checking in. Greatly appreciated. We are multicasting in many different locations as well. So we thank those of you that are watching wherever you may be watching the show tonight. So just to get you caught up here, left for Columbus Tuesday morning, got down there and was busy all day, tearing furniture apart. We were spackling holes in the wall, really just kind of getting set up. Wednesday morning, a little bit more of the same. We had hired a couple of people to come in and help with moving. That commenced at 10 a.m. and by 1:30 we had two storage sites, one with the remaining furniture to sell, and one in our basically our trade show and stuff that we're keeping to go to different events, and another. And really, by about 5 o'clock on Wednesday, we had the office respackled again and vacuumed, and about 99% of everything either thrown in the trash or taken care of. And then this morning at 9 a.m., just some real quick brush work. And then Mike and I were on the road back to Michigan. He's going to Traverse City. I came back to Coldwater. He stopped here, unloaded the Blueberry studio desk. So that's now in the demo room. And a whole bunch of other furniture that, frankly, is sitting in the front of my office that once I unload my car and make a couple trips back and forth, we'll get the rest of it back to the compound. But yeah, very, very busy. I'm running on vapors at this point tonight. So it's been a pretty long couple of days. But I promised I'd get the show out, so I decided to knock it out here. Got my email caught up this afternoon, and some other stuff that was went by the wayside while I was for better words clean. And sadly, he battled pancreatic cancer for more than a year and was undergoing treatment at the University of Pittsburgh. Much of his life reads like a fiction story. His obituary reads then, and perhaps the perfect way to describe his tale. The first time he infiltrated a computer system was back in 1979, but it wasn't until 1988 that he was convicted and sentenced 12 months in prison for copying company software. He broke into Pacific Bell's voicemail computers when he was under supervision. This happened, though. Mitnick figured out how to game LA's public transportation system at 12 years old by memorizing bus schedules and punch cards, and then obtaining his own punch tool system so he could ride buses all day. So I was kind of a mini fan of Kevin Mitnick, especially some of the stuff that I read about 2600, about something he did in the 80s was pretty remarkable, and may have been just a little bit responsible for some of the stuff that I got into with computer bulletin boards. Although I never had a hacking talent one in my entire body. But Kevin Mitnick, formerly the world's most hacker, rest in peace. This is an interesting statistic. However, love busy work. About a quarter of 27% of leaders surveyed said the most prevalent metric for gauging productivity was visibility and activity metrics. This metric surpassed other measures like costs, achieving KPIs, and goals per the report. Well, when you're on Scrum and you're doing sprints, you can see exactly what gets done and what doesn't. But anyway, interesting that 3 in 5 workers want to be active during. They better be active. They're getting paid. Better be active working. Disney, Netflix, and more streaming companies are fighting FTC's click-to-cancel proposal. They are not happy. The click-to-cancel proposal comes as streamers and other cash register gets wrong because you're paying for a service that you don't use. I think it's periodically smart to go through and cancel services that you're not using, but be very careful because later in the show, we're going to talk about a service that you do cancel that you're not going to be able to get the same plan coming back. Meanwhile, Apple slamming a UK surveillance bill proposal. Apple says it removes services such as FaceTime and iMessage from the UK rather than weaken security if new proposals are made law and acted upon. Now, I'm hearing about this all over the EU and other places. They're putting stuff in place and companies are just saying, forget it. We will leave. Well, the 475 million people in the EU will just leave. How many people are in the UK? I don't know what that population number is, but we'll just leave. If you're going to make it too hard, we're not going to do it. The government is seeking to update its Investigatory Powers Act. It wants messaging services to clear security features with the Home Office before releasing them to customers. The act lets the Home Office demand security features that are disabled without telling the public. Under the update, this would have to be immediate. Currently, there has to be a review. There can also be an independent oversight process, and technology company can appeal before taking any action. Because of the secrecy surrounding these demands, little is known about how many have been issued and whether they have been complied with. But many messaging services currently offer end-to-end encryption, so messages can be unscrambled by only the device sending and receiving them. WhatsApp and Signal are among the platforms to oppose a clause in the online safety bill, allowing the communication regulators to require companies to install tech to scan for child abuse material. They will not comply with it, they say. Signal says we're going to walk. We're going to walk away from the UK. Again, also opposed the plan. They are not about the creation of new powers, but making the act more relevant to current technology. Apple has consistently opposed the act, originally dubbed a snooper's charter by critics. Its submission to the current consultation is 9 pages long, opposing. Having to tell the Home Office of any changes to a product's security features before the release, the requirement for non-UK based companies to comply with the changes that would affect their product globally, such as providing a backdoor to the end-to-end encryption, having to take action immediately if a notice to disable or block a feature is received from the Home Office rather than waiting until after the demand is reviewed and appealed against. Apple said it would not make changes to security features, especially for one country. Some changes would require issuing a software update, so that could not be made secretly, and the proposal constitutes a serious and direct threat to data security and information privacy that would affect the people outside the UK. This is a degree of arrogance and ignorance from the government if they believe some of the larger tech companies will comply with the new requirements without a fight. The Home Office told the BBC that Investigatory Powers Act was designed to protect the public from criminals, child sex abusers, and terrorists. So, it'd be interesting to see where this goes. Hey, Toby, how are you doing? So what do you think? Do you think Apple should comply? Do you think so? geeknews@gmail.com is the place to send your commentary. Don't forget we are lit and live. Is to be partially blamed as holding a screen too close to the face. Apple made the point of highlighting this during the WWDC event back in June. So basically, iOS 17 screen distance works by you first enabling it, and its screen distance uses your device's true depth camera to check if you're holding it at least 12 inches away from your eyes, which is why the feature requires an iPhone, iPad with Face ID. Only those devices have the sensors needed to check the distance. Apple says it doesn't capture any photos or videos, and that screen distance data remains on your device, never to be shared with the company. If you or your child holds your iPhone or iPad too close to the face, they'll see a warning on the screen and will be unable to use the device until they move it farther away and press the continue button. This warning doesn't show up immediately, however. You need to keep the phone or tablet too close to your face for about 5 minutes for the warning to appear. So it's is they actually have an article talking about hacking the Las Vegas MSG Sphere. And is it possible? And then they lay out things that you might have to do to be able to hack the MSG Sphere. And to me, this smells really, really bad, as if it was written by ChatGPT. It just has that feel to me. I've seen enough ChatGPT output so far to kind of see one, and this one kind of smells like one. It may not be, but why would you write an article about hacking the Las Vegas MSG Sphere, and then kind of go into details on ways you could possibly do it and some avenues? It seems to me a little bit odd. It really, really does. Your iPhone can now decode the warning lights in your car. This is the fastest way to figure out what a mysterious button in your vehicle does or what a warning light means. So let me ask, do you all not know what your warning lights in your vehicles mean? If the light ABS comes on, would you not know what that means? If the battery light comes on, would you not know what that means? Would an engine light come on, you not know what that it kind of I guess this is a thing. It's called visual lookup. I guess it understands the car symbols and warning lights. Now, you may not know how to fix it, but everyone should know what their warning lights mean. And you should know what all the switches in your car do. How many of you don't? Honestly. Is it something come on? You said, well, what is that? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a geek and I try to read now I don't use all the features. But all right, this is an interesting one. Get ready to make a deal for your ride. InDrive is bringing its ride-hailing, haggling business to the United States again. I guess this is their second try. Founded in Siberia in 2012, the app operates in 48 countries and about to re-enter U.S. Silicon Valley company plans to have drivers in South Florida by Thursday. So what you do is you haggle for your ride price. They say customers can expect to save an average of 20% on each fare after haggling for less than 40 seconds. So, first of all, I usually don't know what a ride would cost. If I fly into a city and I'm in an airport and I'm going somewhere, I'll check between Uber and Lyft and see if there's a difference in price. But I would not normally know what to haggle for. But maybe you do. So maybe if you're taking the same route many times a week, you'll know that it costs $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. Maybe you can haggle for $5. I don't know. But are you going to try to haggle? Is this worth your time? If it only takes 40 seconds, I guess it's okay. But again, this is going to launch in Miami with a fleet of about 5,000 drivers in South Beach, Brickell, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and Boca Raton. Many of the drivers are Uber and Lyft contractors eager to check out InDrive's promise of letting drivers and passengers negotiate ride prices. We see a lot of injustice in the hailing market. American drivers and riders are tired of surge pricing and algorithms deciding who drivers will pick up. All right, well, InDrive coming to Southern Florida, so definitely check it out. Tesla revenues grew to $25 billion, but margins shrink, and their stock is down about 5% because of it. The automaker built 479,700 vehicles during the period, delivering 466,140. Selling those cars brought in $21.3 billion revenue, a 46% increase year over year, but the company's once fat margins are now, quote unquote, shrinking. So, there you go. That's what they say. They are shrinking. It doesn't say what the profit margin shrunk by, I think about 14%. Outlook for Windows app replaces Mail, and whoever used Mail in Windows to begin with, and Calendar in new Windows 11 preview. Outlook for Windows client is still in a preview with some missing features, but I never used the Mail client in Windows. Just like I don't use the Mail client on my Mac. I don't. So, Windows 11, big changes ahead. Microsoft is also going to stop blocking vital security logs behind a $57 per user monthly plan for enterprise users. U.S. agency had urged Microsoft to expand access to logs that can identify cyber attacks. Microsoft expanded access to important security log data after being criticized. The logging updates will start rolling out in September to all government and commercial customers, the company said. Over the coming months, will include access to wider cloud security logs for our worldwide customers at no additional cost. As these changes take effect, customers can use Microsoft Purview Audit to centrally visualize more types of cloud log data generated across their enterprise. Pounding water here today. I'm well behind on my H2O consumption. The FTC's launched a crackdown on illegal robocalls and telemarketing. Action will target voice IP providers that facilitate calls, as well as consent farms that gather and sell consumers' personal information. The action, known as Operation Stop Scam Call, was announced Tuesday. It involves more than 100 federal and state law enforcement agencies across the country, as well as attorney generals of all 50 states. In addition to telemarketers, the action will target so-called consent farms that provide your personal information to robocallers while falsely saying consumers agreed to receive the calls. The crackdown also targets voice over IP providers that facilitate illegal robocalls, often which originate outside the U.S. Why don't we go after these folks? Voice IP calls, I hate to say it, from about 3 countries should be banned. We're taking action against those who trick people into phony consent to receive these calls and those who make it easy and cheap to place these calls. The FTC received more than 1.8 million complaints about robocalls in 2022. So you can be sure that's the people decided to complain. This next article is a little bit weird. We all know how plants pollinate, right? Usually, little wind, maybe a bee, maybe a little hands-on in your vegetable garden to help spread pollen. Well, according to Lifehacker, your plants might need a vibrator. If you're not getting fruits and veggies your garden promise, it's time to intervene with some good vibes. Where baby veggies and fruits come from. For most vegetables and fruit plants, flowers are produced when a plant reaches maturity. Those flowers come in male and female form. Female flowers are capable of producing fruit. Male flowers have stamens and pollen. In order to produce fruit, the female flower needs the pollen, and there are only a few ways to make that jump. Bees are first and best hope. Those busy little workers go from flower to flower, collecting pollen on their legs. As they move about, that pollen ends up in the right places most of the time, aka baby vegetables. The wind plays a natural role as well, particularly for crops like corn, which is why you place corn plants in close proximity to each other. When the tassels begin to show, the wind will blow, and you get pollination. Boy, I tell you, it can get that pollen gets everywhere. But if you have zucchini and watermelon, you can pollinate each blossom by hand. Grab a stamen and rub it on a flower. For plants with many blossoms, you can mimic the wind by vibrating the plant, by shaking it just a little bit. But if you have some that are smaller, you might need an electric toothbrush that vibrates. They just make vibes just for gardening. Honestly, they do. They make vibrators just for gardens. There's a list of them in the show notes of this article. It's called the Mini Bullet Wand Massager. Arrow Garden, the bee pollinator. Okay. So anyway, link will be in the show notes for you to check that out, for those of you that are gardening. Well, how many of you are tired of glasses? I'm tired of glasses, but I'm really not a candidate for LASIK or other types of surgeries. And there's a whole bunch of options out there today. And, but if you are, LASIK is a great way to really get rid of the glasses. And some insurances cover it, some don't. It's gotten much more inexpensive. There are multiple procedures now. Talk to your optometrist, but a link to an article about it is in the show notes. Also, you got a kid going off to college? Well, they got to manage their finances, right? You're going to send them over there with some money every week or month. There's an app called Mint, which costs $0. You need a budget, good budget, Acorns, 1Password. These are all apps that you can help to help your kiddos manage their money. Link is in the show notes. Get them started off right. Have you heard about sharenting? Sharenting, parenting, but sharenting. What is sharenting? Well, my daughter does sharenting real good. My daughter Natalie is definitely an Instagram, Facebook sharenting parent. She posts about the kids and dances and events, and it goes on and on and on. And this is a article about things you should and shouldn't do when you're sharenting social media for your your grandkids and so forth, or your current kids. So talks about cyberbullying, identity theft, talks about things that you have to be careful about removing metadata. So anyway, link will be in the show notes. If you want to share this with a loved one that may be sharing too much, definitely drop it in their inbox. Also, many of you are doing telehealth. Matter of fact, next Tuesday, I'm not doing telehealth. I go in and I get poked and prodded at the VA, get to go to get my annual physical, get into the VA system here and a whole bunch of other things. So, but if you're doing a telehealth visit, it's a great article on basically telehealth tips, how to prepare, ways to stay secure, et cetera, et cetera. And, thing about telehealth is you should make a list of what you want to talk about because sometimes you can forget easily. This next one is not about the taking care of your plants, but over at the Daily Mail, they're talking about sex in space. Scientists call for urgent research on the consequences of joining the Kármán Line Club, not the Mile High Club, the Kármán Line Club, as they claim that, the dirty will happen between space tourists within 10 years. Now, NASA categorically insists that no humans have done the dirty in space, but with the proliferation of space tourism, this is probably going to change. Professor Dave Cullen is calling for research into the consequences of sex in space. Well, if we look at Star Trek and so forth, I think sex in space has been going on for a long time. But I think that they want to know more. And but we know, of course, with microgravity, things are going to get interested. And, they're worried about people hitting each other, hitting each other's head and so forth. All right, I'm not going to go into this. But anyway, I'll just read this. I'll let you read it. Concerns for both the men and the ladies. So I'll leave it at that. It'll be in the show notes for you to check out. All right. Beware, beware! A deadly storm is coming towards Earth. NOAA confirms it will hit. So this is the 20th, and it was supposed to hit today. So has anything happened? Are we still here? Yes, we're still here. How to watch the 2023 Perseids meteorite shower, one of the brightest celestial displays. The Perseids meteorite shower started on Friday, July 14th, and is expected to continue till September 1st, but the peak will be between August 12th and August 13th. As I've said in previous shows, I got to experience the peak of the Perseids meteorite shower over the top of Afghanistan when Afghanistan was completely blacked out. I was wearing NVG goggles as an observer in the back of the airplane. It was amazing. It was amazing. And so we're supposed to be, I don't think we're going to be we're going to have a very little moon. It's going to occur just before a new moon, when the moon is barely illuminating the night sky. If you ever get to see these with a true dark sky, you could see the 60 to 70 shooting stars an hour. It doesn't matter where you are on the planet. So just be aware, okay? 5 apps that help check your local air quality. It was kind of funny when I was coming out of Toledo. I was actually going east towards Toledo and hung a right, was going down the highway and run into this like 20-mile bank of, I'm calling it Canadian fog. And it was bad for about 20 miles. I just ran right out of it. It was just like kind of this like little stream of it. So there's some apps out there that Air Now is one, IQ Air, Plume Labs by AccuWeather, Air Care. So anyways, if you want to look at air quality, link will be up in the show notes for you to check out. All right. A new U.S. government guideline has been announced for fighting back against tech mega mergers. The FTC and DOJ have issued this set of guidelines with pointed language. And but basically, they've said mergers should not eliminate substantial competition between firms. Mergers should not substantially lessen competition by creating a firm that controls product or service that rivals may use to compete. Mergers should not entrench or extend a dominant position. When a merger is part of a series of multiple acquisitions, the agency may examine the whole series. And they're laying out, this is a very big change. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to stop the Activision Blizzard because of a court decision a couple of days ago. But this 51-page draft document lays out the proposed new guidelines. So maybe we can slow down some of these mega mergers. Google Messages signs on to cross-platform encrypted group chat standard. So they're adopting the messaging layer security protocol that aims to handle end-to-end encryption, support sending and receiving between supported messaging apps. So that's another company that has signed on. Out of the Ukraine has busted a bot farm spreading Russian Infowar propaganda and fraud. They've disrupted, Ukrainian police have disrupted a massive bot farm with more than 100 operators. After conducting 21 searches, the country's cyber national police seized computer equipment, mobile phones, more than 250 GSM gateways, and about 150,000 SIM cards. The cyber police established that the attackers used special equipment and software to register thousands of bot accounts on various social networks and subsequently launched advertisements that violated the norms and legislation of Ukraine. Insiders inside, I can't pronounce these three cities, were involved in the bot farm, were told law enforcement are pursuing charges of interference with electronic communications. Of course, Russian operatives spreading disinformation about the illegal war or anything else for that matter isn't new. And meanwhile, the Ukrainian scareware scammer has been cuffed. He's been on the run since 2006. So they scooped somebody up. Wonder if that was a deal. By the way, if you've got YouTube Premium, they haven't announced it to us, but it's going up $2. It's going to $14 per month. No official announcement. 12 to 14, and annually it'll go up a little bit too. So just be aware if you are a YouTube Premium customer. Also, Netflix acts as its basic plan. So if you are on a basic plan and you move up, you can't move down. If you cancel, you can't re-get it. The basic plan is gone. So its basic plan is basically done. So this is part of its crack up. My family was affected. We can't share our Netflix account no more. And be honest with you. My daughter was using it in Washington, and then Shoko and Chris were using it in Hawaii. So, fair's fair, I guess. Amazon is bringing its Palm-based payment to all Whole Food Market stores. Amazon One will be available in every U.S. store by the end of the year. I haven't been in a Whole Foods since I left Hawaii. And if you shop at one, has anything changed? I haven't been in one since at least 2018-19. So those of you that shop at Whole Foods can tell me about your experience. But again, Palm-based payments will work. I guess you have to register your Palm or something like that. Also upcoming, Samsung Unpacked 23. What to expect on July 26th. Samsung Galaxy Foldables, smartwatches, and tablets are, of course, all likely. So if you're a Samsung fan, be aware that they're announcing all the new products here directly. Hey, that's going to bring us to the conclusion of the content today. But check the inbox. If you've emailed me, didn't find anything. Even though I was about 400 emails behind, I got those all cleared before the show tonight, and found nothing. So definitely, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com, @geeknews on Twitter. It's been my pleasure bringing the podcast. I hope you enjoyed the show today. We'll be back on Monday with another edition of the Geekness Central podcast. I'm looking forward, honestly, to probably sleeping about 10 hours tonight, if at all possible. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. But, yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing this weekend. So we'll see. We'll see what crops up, what the plan is. I'm sure I'll figure something out. But I hope all of you take care. Take care of one another. Geeknews@gmail.com. Make sure you're using a new podcasting app, a modern podcasting app, not a legacy podcasting app that you're using right now at podcastapps.com. If you want to watch this show lit and live, you can use the Podverse app. That's a great one to use. Fountain is the one to listen to the show if you listen to it on demand. Again, send me your Fountain address, and I'll send you some Satoshis. Free money. Free digital currency. It's real money. Sending it to you. All you got to do is start using the app and email me here, geeknews@gmail.com. I had a few of you take me up on this. And, but again, giving the opportunity, I'm paying you to play with a new app. How about that? And you can donate it to any show you want. All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you next time here on the Geekness Central podcast. Everyone take care. Be safe. We'll see you. Bye-bye.